Sam, are you there? Can you hear me? I guess you can. My name is Robert Walicki, and I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this is the Poets in Pajamas reading series. I wanted to thank Sam for inviting me on and for giving me this opportunity. So let me know when I should start reading, or am I live right now, or what? All right. So I can start, I guess? Hey, Angel. Thanks for tuning. Thanks for clicking on here. I guess I'll get started. So I wanted to thank Sam Slaughter for inviting me to read for this series. It's kind of a new thing for me, this technology, and thanks for all of your patience and for tuning in here. And so I'll get started here. So I'm going to read some new poems, and I think with such dark days ahead of us, I guess how could one not start with this poem? And the title of this first poem is "Cutting Donald Trump's Hair." It's because your truck needs inspected and he is the mechanic. Because the grainy TV is playing the day the earth stood still while you wait to be told when he's done how much this will cost. Because your job is to sit here and watch this greasy kid twist wrenches, talk hunting, gloat about Trump. It's weeks later, but when your truck makes a noise you never heard before, you'll be back, just in time to learn about gun clicks and ammunition, of the missed opportunity of a deer as if you should feel sorry for him. Because on the day after the election, he is laughing when he asks you if you knew about the time Donald Trump beat up Vince McMahon, shaved his head on television for WrestleMania 23, the Battle of the Billionaires. And you think how this parallel is exact. One pretend president shaving a pretend wrestler's head in this era of less than truths, era of guns and running away, era of I can't breathe. And you say the thought of two sweaty men shaving each other isn't something you think about, but you'd pay to watch Trump lose his in front of millions. You don't think about sabotage, but you wonder how well your words translate into loose bolts, the back wheels of your pickup spinning off on the parkway. But the credit card you hand him means you are chained together by that thin necessity of living. The endless get up and do it all over again. Printing off your receipt, he lets the television speak its news. Who got arrested, whose house burned down, and the post-truth half-truths of recounts folded into sound bites, the media normalizations, and a painkiller ad for our heads hurting from Twitter feeds. The numbing temps of November, and this less than a man who just said what he said to get elected. Whatever the mechanic brought in today to eat smells. He sits down for his break. But you can't help but watch him shovel in his cream of something, his big mouth opening, all that hot steam pouring out. So before I go any further, I want to say that yes, for those of you curious, I am wearing pajamas, bottoms, and I'm wearing this incredible t-shirt, Build Bridges, Not Walls, and designed by the wonderfully talented Megan Tutelo, and so also the proceeds for these t-shirts are going to Planned Parenthood, so I'm really proud of that as well. And we continue on here. I have a new chapbook. It's called The Almost Sound of Snow Falling. Shameless plug. But in any case, I want to read a poem from it. A lot of the poems in the chapbook talk about my work experiences as a plumber, and this is one of those work poems. I am also a plumber in addition to being a poet, and so anyway, this poem goes into some of those experiences. It's called Black Angel of Death Love Song. Because I refuse to listen, because the words college and textbook fell off my body like indifferent rain, I became a raven. Or more accurately, one of those men, head down, a shiny black raincoat, hands made of mud, digging out some broken drain. Instead of wings, ravens like this get storm water. They get 6 hours of shit-filled pipe overflowing, followed by, you get the picture. I wasn't on the job when the sprinkler fitter stepped wrong, missed the bar on his scissor lift, fell 50 foot down. Because he didn't know about the no-wing policy at job sites. Because they issued us free lunch and Budweiser instead of harness. Canvas straps for our working-class lives. We sat on our hands at the safety meetings, my invisible wings the only things moving. I could leave now, but we ravens were short-range flyers. We can spot a quarter on a sidewalk as if it were a drop of blood 50 foot up. Because we need the dead as much as the ground does to fill our hunger, paychecks folded into our dirty hands every Monday like a drug. So we wouldn't spend everything, so we would always come back. General said, there's a certain type of man wants to fit pipe, set shitters, tear down walls as if they were a memory, remove asbestos without a mask. WebMD says it lies inside the body, as in dormant, as in 20 to 30 years, as in if I was holding a bullet and mesothelioma in the palm of each hand, would it matter which opened first? I saw the black angel of death walk outside a condemned building, hole in his respirator, cigarette hanging from his mouth. He was just going outside for some fresh air for a moment. Beautiful day, he said. So here's another newish poem about some of these work experiences, and it's called I Want to Write the Poem. Excuse me. I want to write the poem I'm afraid to write. Afraid of falling into the chasm of the blank page to tell you what's wrong, what's been bothering me. Because my heart is a bag full of tools, and my eyes are painted on with plumber's grease. This weather of rust that rains from broken ceilings instead of sky, coloring me in half shades of regret. I am afraid of becoming a statue of bones, the cut, the ache, the whiskey, and the sweat. This spidering in and out of pipework, carrying the hair and the toothpaste and the day and the dead skin cells of the world. The earth is always under my fingernails. I am the crack open, the reach inside, the song of rotten pipes, the shut mouth, hand over a nose or face, that stripped valve in your basement that spins and spins. I'm the stuffed shitter, the fixer, the invisible technician of dissonance, an auger's metal tongue screwing holes in hell, this sewer smells leaking into the air. I'm a smoke-filled flannel in a bar full of laughter. Happy hour drafts drowning the dreams of men. I know there are exhaust pipes in pickup trucks that rattle like Buddhist mantras. There are rainbows in the grease trails of oil slicks. There are pieces of me that won't always be broken. There are things everybody wants to close into a hole, slide down the echo chamber of memory, and sometimes a 4-inch pipe is big enough to swallow this. I know there are pipes made to look like cathedral pillars and NASA space shuttles collecting dust in the basement of my nephew's school. I know flight sometimes has little to do with taking to the air, but a mind broken free from a clog. I know that most people don't question where their pipes go, just there are people like me who bury them. I know every Mountain Dew bottle, drop of sweat, and broken shoelace I left behind in a ditch felt like an offering. I know the sound of an excavator leaving a job site sounds like longing, that when I walk past construction sites, the stirred up dust makes me feel invisible. I know the music has power to save me, like poetry, that my hand is a shark that has to keep moving. I know sometimes it feels like we are writing in water. Stirred into memory, we forget. We begin again. We forgive. Can everyone hear me? Having a little technical issues on my phone on my end. Hopefully it's not affecting the reading. So a lot of what I read about, I write about, I write a lot about family. And my first chapbook especially, and my second too, focused a lot on family and my mom, my mother. So anyway, this is a poem for her, new one. It's called What Breaks You. Say it's because of the house that you're coming over, and your mother's desperation over the mouse she can't see. Say it's the scratching behind the walls, the shy fist of its body bristling past the stacks of cracked dishes, behind the slow roaster only pulled out for Thanksgiving, where it's already made a careless nest of straw droppings, the withered articles stuffed into the gaps of the walls for insulation. You think of the soft blonde spiders that used to get in through broken screens after rain, or the stink bugs that cling to her vapor-thin drapes, the scribble of their legs on your wrist. You are taking the air conditioner out of her window because summer is over, and the grass at last has stopped dying. Later, she'll offer a bottle of water to you from the fridge and a porch to lean on with its chipped railing and drink, while your sister smokes, talks about the kids, the son flunked out, the daughter's boyfriend who broke a windshield with his fists. There is still enough silence here to fill a coffee cup with spent butts. Hold on to what you'd wish you'd say, what you have no words for. Even the backyard pines are acting like nothing's wrong. They glisten with sap and brush the needled dirt with their green skirts, as if they too weren't weighed down by more than the wind. You watch them, and the curtain parts for 2 city deer, and the hushed apathy of their bodies. They saunter like teenagers in a mall, cresting the hill just to kick over the neighbors' birdhouses thick with seed and spilling over. And you're speechless in your envy, jealous of their reckless freedom, the sound of their hooves stumbling awkwardly against a twig, and suddenly you are 21 again, coming home drunk in the dark, falling into the door of your mother's anger. Not because you were thoughtless, just that you were young and dumb with discovery. When you're ready to ask about the mouse, she'll be nodding off in her green chair, her hair now shorn and boyishly practical. But what breaks you now is she isn't afraid anymore, that the reason she called you is lost down some dark hole to live out its own wild and desperate life. So I certainly hope 2017 is a better year, if anything, at least in terms of all the deaths of our heroes, our actors, musicians, poets, writers. This is a poem I wrote a while back that's dedicated to Prince. It's called Rain, and it was featured in Night Valley Press's anthology for Prince called Delirious. Rain. In his king's robe made out of stars he waits, lifts his river of hair to stare at us, scream his beautiful mess of torture, reach his slow hand down to touch strings, make it rain for the first time. My sister hid you for months, snuck listens to purple rain at night, in safety muffled your moans with low sound and headphones. The LP she slipped between a wall and a bookcase. And once, no one in the house, I found you, turned you up, not knowing what it meant to lay a needle down into a groove, set the storm inside me spinning. I was young. What did I know of closed eyes, a wet mouth, the wing of someone's hands over my body? What purple rain means when it falls on your skin. How you never want it to stop. So, wow, to my last poem already. Thank you all for listening and being patient with this. It's a new experience for me and quite cool, actually. And once again, I wanted to thank Sam for inviting me and hope you're all enjoying the poems. And this last one is called Spooky Pizza Friday, and it's a love poem of sorts. So, in any case, Spooky Pizza Friday. Spooky Pizza Friday was what we called it. Like a holiday or good sex, something that demands a name, leaving you breathless with sweat and one good cigarette. It's Friday, but even before 7 a.m., we are sending texts. Can't wait to see you, or till this is over, covert as teens or spies, inside the pink bathroom stalls in your office. At a light changing green, where I'm replying with red lip emoticons in my pickup to a chorus of horns, middle fingers sticking out of windows. But instead of go, I am thinking of a 2-topping special. And the coupon I left at the desk at home, the 30-minute wait at night for the passenger seat to get red hot, for the windows to get fogged up like a first date. But listen, I'm talking about food here. How the swirls of cheese slumps down into the comforters of the spongy crust. Pepperoni burning the cardboard air with the zest of its salt. I'm driving home from Fellini's Pizza toward the beginning of the story, where the plot is always based on true events. The road freezing, the unforgiving curves, the slick patches I just miss. I can see my truck flipped over, my head against the dashboard, cracked windshield, the wheels in midair still spinning. But this is the Friday I have enough tread to recover. Spin into the harmless grass in time to make it home, the pizza still steaming. I want to believe it's because we're so tired and deserve the desert island of our couch. To be envious of our cats again, knitted together like scarves. Because for 2 hours we can forget arthritis, the sister in the hospital, and walk into televised darkness. Follow 4 unsuspecting co-eds as they get together, then split back up again. Set up mics and cameras, Say, make sure you get this, and is there a spirit here who wishes to speak? They listen for the whispers of phantoms on playback, and just like us, we are stupidly waiting for the electric mist of special effects. The deep voices bellowing, "Get out," into a night darker than the time you were 18 and shaking in your bed. Old enough to tell a shadow or an open closet from the shape of your father who never came back. No footsteps, no banging pipes mistaken for, "I miss you, it's okay." In the movie, this is the critical moment of discovery, where we were always pausing it for bathroom breaks and another slice, because the story is so bad it's good. And after all, who wants to see anyone survive? The dead jock, the cheerleader panicking in the basement, and a cameraman who witnesses something so terrible that no one could possibly believe him. In the end, the priest never says the right thing. The stained glass shatters into screams. The evil is always bigger than he is. Some monsters, he'll say, never leave. But we don't think about what this could mean. We hit play again, and we lean in together, waiting. Thank you. So I guess now is the time, if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to ask away. And once again, thank you all for listening. Thanks for the likes and loves, everyone. Thanks, Angel. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Melanie. You're welcome, Sam. Thanks for having me. Great question, Lynn. I'm going to see how I can answer this. She asked, are there any poets that inspire me to write about a lot of these working class themes? It's the poets that really inspire me, that I look forward for a lot of inspiration. Dorian Locks comes to mind. Obviously, Philip Levine is, I draw a lot of inspiration from. But it's taken a while to write about these experiences and find the art in the common, the mundane, and I've taken that as sort of a mantle to write about, because that's what I am. And as you hear the old adage, poets should write from their own experiences. So those are the two poets that come to mind that I write that inspire me the most, I would say. Danielle's asking, have I always written about my work as a plumber? No, I haven't. And these poems have really come to fruition quite recently, because a lot of these experiences, it's when I write about an experience, I don't normally write about them as it's happening, although that's happening to me more and more. But like I said, a lot of these experiences were really dark and difficult and ugly, and I found it difficult to write poems about them, because I felt that poems had to come from a more profound, beautiful, deeper spiritual place. But really, when we think about it, those elements are inherent in everything. Did you hear am I coming through with my answers, everyone? Oh, thank you. Thanks, Nancy. What am I working on now? I'm working on a full-length manuscript that takes some poems from my first two chapbooks, but also focuses very heavy on the work experiences that I've talked so much about, and I think it's sort of the heart of the book. The working title of the manuscript is called Black Angels, and I've taken that from the poem that I read tonight, Black Angels, and sort of taking working class portraits and writing, finding the nobility about the work that not only the work that I do, but work that so many of us do, and that's unlauded and it's not appreciated, and that is taken for granted, and finding the poetry in that, which is sort of is something that I take very seriously. Any other questions? All right, everyone. I wanted to thank you again for listening, and appreciated all your likes and your comments, and thanks for being with me through all this, and hope to thanks, Christopher. See you on the World Wide Web. Those of you that are local Pittsburgh poets and writers, I'm going to be reading next week in Greenfield for the Nasty Woman, Bad Hombre reading, an anthology for poems writing about resistance, and also proceeds to that fundraiser are going to many local and national charities. And I'm also, after that, I'm reading at an ACLU reading hosted by the Pittsburgh Poetry Review, and proceeds will be going to ACLU from that reading as well. So once again, thank you, Sam Slaughter. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening, and hope you all have a great night. Thanks.